Alright, hi. If you're watching this video, I'm going to show you how to make boxes and forms in two-point perspective. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is make a horizon line. So that's the line that separates the ground from the sky. So I'm going to take the edge of my ruler where it's nice and straight and line it up with the straight edge of my paper to make sure I have a straight line. And then I'm going to gently press down and get my horizon line. Now for two-point perspective to happen, we need to make two vanishing points. That's where all lines recede or go back to. So I'm going to put a point on the left, and I'm going to put a point on the right. Okay, so the first form I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of set it up how we're going to do the city block. What I want to have is I want to have a really big, tall building in the front, and then I want my streets to kind of come on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start kind of in the middle of my paper, get that corner edge up there to make sure my line's really straight, and I'm going to make my corner edge. So if you look on here, we're trying to make buildings here. So we're going to start with a corner edge, which is this edge right here, and then we're going to take lines back from the top of that line to the left and the right, go to the bottom of the line, go back to the right and the left, and then close the sides to make our left and right side. So I'm going to make, like I said, a pretty tall building or a box. So I've got my corner edge. Now from the top, I'm going to go back to the left and the right. Make sure your ruler is lined up on that vanishing point and at the top of your line. Press really lightly because we're going to be erasing quite a bit. And if you press too hard, it's going to get confusing when you start erasing. Okay, so we went from the top, it's back to the left and the right. Now we're going to do the same thing at the bottom. So we're going to connect those two and connect these two over here. Okay. So now remember, we've got our corner edge here. So we've got this corner edge. Now we need to stop our box. We need to make the sides. So what I like to do is I like to line up my ruler in the middle. I'm actually going to make my left side. I'm going to just slide it over. So I'm looking between the line and my ruler. So do I want it this wide? Do I want it this wide? Do I want it really wide? What do I want it to look like? I want to make kind of like a skinny tall building. So I'm going to line it up here. We're going to draw another vertical line going through the horizon line from one of these orthogonal lines down to the other. Like that. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing over here to make my right side. So I'm going to start here lining up my ruler. I'm going to slide over. I want the sides to be pretty similar. And I'm going to connect those two orthogonal lines. And now I've got my box. Okay? So now I'm going to erase the horizon line inside of the box to make it solid. And then we don't need these top two lines anymore. But for the cityscape, we can actually keep those two lines because those are gonna represent our sidewalk and our street. So from here, I'm going to just keep adding forms and buildings. So for your project, you need to have a minimum of 7. You can make as many as you want. Okay? So maybe I want another building coming behind here. So I'm going to make the corner edge. So this is the corner of my next form. Do the same thing with perspective. I'm going to go from the top back to the left, and from the top back to the right. Okay? Now, if you imagine the corner edge of our building is like right there, but we can't see it because it's behind this front building. Okay? So I think I'm just gonna leave the corner edge over here, but you can barely see it. So my corner is gonna go here. And then I'm gonna make another building like right about here. So I'm gonna make my right side. And I'm gonna connect them here. So I'm gonna erase the top line. I'm gonna erase this line right here. So now I've got a building here, and then I've got another building right here, okay? Forgot to erase the horizon line through here. That makes that building solid. Now maybe I come over here, and I want to make a shorter, kind of wider building. So again, I'm going to make my corner edge. It's going to be like that. And I'm going to go from the top back to the left, and then the top back to the right point. Again, I'm just going to stop right there because I don't want to make more work for myself trying to erase. Then if we look at the bottom, we already have a line going back to the left, but we need a line going back to the right. So I'm going to line those up, and then I'm going to connect that like that. Okay? So you can see I've got my right side, but I want to do a left side now. I want to do kind of like a wide building. So I'm going to connect these two. And I've got my other box. So I'm going to erase the horizon line going through it. And then I don't need this little orthogonal line right here. I kind of lost part of my horizon line, so I'm just going to redraw it real quick with my ruler, like that. And then we're going to keep these two lines because that's going to act as our sidewalk. Okay, so right now I've got 1, 2, 3 buildings, and I can just keep going. Maybe I want to do another building over here, so I've got my corner edge, and we're just repeating the exact same way. So from the bottom, I've got a line going back to the right, but I don't have one going back to the left. So I'm going to line up with the left point in the bottom of the line, and I'm going to draw until I hit that building. Do the same thing from the top, go from the top back to the right, and go from the top back to the left, but stop when you get to that building. Okay? So I can have this building be separate, or I can leave it where it looks like it's going behind that building, which is what I want to do. So I have my left side, but I have not closed off my right side. So again, I'm going to just take my ruler, slide it over for how wide I want it, and connect that side. Okay? So I don't need this line anymore, this orthogonal line above the horizon line. And then I don't need the horizon line going through my box. But I do want to keep this line because, again, this is going to be my sidewalk. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to do 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to need 3 more. So again, I'm just going to keep stacking. Maybe I want to do one from behind here. Here's my corner edge. Doing the exact same thing. Back to the left. Back to the right. And then I'm going to make my sides. So once you get this process down, it goes pretty quickly. So now I've got a building back here. Erase that outside line. Now I've got another building. Okay? Maybe I want to do one back here. Corner edge. Back to the vanishing point. Back to the vanishing point. And then I think I'm going to make my line stop right here. And then I'm going to erase this line. Okay? So I'm going to keep going, and actually, as I'm looking at these 2 buildings, This building's looking a little weird to me because I can't really see that corner edge. So I'm actually going to modify this a little bit. Okay? So I'm going to erase my side here real quick. I'm going to keep this building and I'm going to make my corner edge a little bit further over. So like right here. And then I'm going to go back to the left and to the right. So you can also change what you do as well. So now I'm going to go back to the right. But I know I've got buildings right here, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to take this line back down. Move these around just a little bit. And I think I'm actually going to make this one a really skinny building. Like that. So again, I've got my corner edge. So this looks a little weird here because I haven't taken a line back to the left. So I'm going to line those up. Make this teeny tiny little line right here. And erase that little line right here. So now I've got like a super skinny building. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe I'll do one more over here for a 7th one. So again, I've got my corner edge, back to the left, back to the right, and then I've got a line going back to the left here, but I don't have one going back to the right. Line it up. I think I want this to go behind, but I need to make my left side. So I'm going to make it just about this wide. And then I'm going to erase my horizon line inside. Erase those orthogonal lines right here. And look at that. I got 7 buildings. You could keep adding to it, or you can leave it how it is. All right? So again, it's the same thing over and over and over again. You do this corner edge, you go from the top back to the left and the right, you go from the bottom back to the left and the right, and then you have to close your sides. So you figure out how wide you want to make your building. That corner edge, however long that is, determines how tall you want your form to be. Okay, so you can re-watch this, you can replay it. Sorry, that is my phone. And if you want to watch some other videos, I'll show you how to do sidewalks, streets, all the details for the buildings, and we'll go from there. All right, thank you for watching.